At Grenfell, they remember. 72 lives lost in the tower. Deaths caused by an unsafe building. Eddie, can I speak to you then?
Yeah.
6 years ago, those who made it out alive
My name's Edward Daffarn.
believed the disaster would bring change.
In the days after the fire, when I stood under the carcass of Grenfell Tower, I was convinced that it would be the catalyst for social change. And here we are 6 years later on, and so little has changed. I think the feeling among my own feeling and the local community is one of frustration beginning to turn to anger.
When the fire happened, there was an overwhelming sense that this should never happen again. And yet today, 6 years after the tragedy, the fire brigade says there are more than 1,000 buildings in London that they say are unsafe.
Oh my God!
This was Croydon just last week. A building with flammable materials on the outside and residents told to stay put in their flats.
The government seems to choose to be playing a form of kind of perverted Russian roulette in that, they're willing to allow buildings still to be covered in dangerous cladding 6 years after the fire. And, as we've said all along, Grenfell 2 is in the post.
At the Royal Institute of British Architects, they champion the best building makers. Is there a part of you which is embarrassed at the quality of build in this country?
All of us, must feel in some way complicit with what went on at Grenfell. Right the way through the chain of command. I don't think anybody was showered in glory. So I think it is generally embarrassing that we got our industry into that state. I gave a talk to final year students just a couple of weeks ago, and I showed a picture of Grenfell Tower ablaze. And these young people, the sudden intake of breath. Grenfell is being used as an icon, if you like, to remind people of their responsibilities and how serious they are.
One of the other lessons of the Grenfell fire is that people who live in social housing need to have their rights respected. And we've also introduced new laws which give tenants a stronger voice and also ensure that if people are living in homes that are not safe, that action is taken earlier.
We need buildings to be safe, we need dangerous cladding removed, and it's only when those kind of things happen that we'll be able to move on.
Well, Rags joins us from West London, where the anniversary is being marked. And Rags, a lot of pain and still very few answers for these families.
That's right, Carolyn. It's a day of reflection and remembrance here. 6 years is actually 72 months, and that's 1 month passing for every life lost here. And like every big anniversary, take a look at this. The community have gathered together like they have always done for the silent walk, dressed in green mainly. They'll set off at 6:30. It's something that used to happen every month, and it's now just twice a year. 6 years have passed, but the pain here is still very much raw. 6 years on, this is very much a community still grieving. 6 years on, there has been no justice, no arrests, and they're still waiting for the delayed Grenfell inquiry report to be published. 72 people died here in 2017, and despite everything that has happened, another Grenfell could happen tonight.
OK, Rags, thanks very much indeed.